Hello, I am Evil Dictator Genzaki, and this is the Genzakistan Gaming Podcast. With me today is Minion number 669, technical designation Bulbazak,
Hey, I'm just here for the booze.
and technical Minion number 8675309, special designation Jenny, but we call him Eddie Phoenix.
This is just. Edwina, your freaking luck is rubbing off everywhere at this point. D&D character, long story. Fucking Wabbajack.
Hey, if I have to, I'll kill you off and grow another Eddie Phoenix.
Again,
Which
it's one of
podcast
those
is this? This is the 13th one, so I've done it 12 times
14th?
before. I can do it
I thought,
again.
I thought it was the 14th.
13 times. Yeah, I
We don't care
liquidate.
which podcast this is.
Yeah, I liquidate you in between each podcast anyway. Turn you into Soylent Green and feed you to the new Eddie and Bulba.
So, what
All
happened
right.
last week?
You died.
Ah, yes. I remember that
I remember this, even though I wasn't alive.
now.
All right,
I ran away
starting us
last
off. Start with the Blizzard news. We always start with the Blizzard news. Iran has banned Battle.net because they dislike that it pushes mythology and superstition and violence. The best part of this being that Iran is a theocracy, meaning they're run by a religion, and most religions push mythology and superstition, and from time to time a good bit of violence.
my thing here is, Iran, with everything that's going on with your country, you decide that this is the best use of your time?
Oh well, Iran. It's one of its famous points is that it's got a separate internet from the rest of the world, and occasionally they can wander out. But the government is very strict on which sites from the outside world they are allowed to see. So,
Honestly, are you
Battle.net's
sure
not one
that
of
this
them.
story didn't belong in the idiot corner?
No, this is our Blizzard news.
Yeah, we always have to talk about Blizzard.
Yeah,
Thunk.
Blizzard's first.
Don't know why, but we always have to talk about Blizzard.
Yeah, they're the biggest company in MMOs. I guess they deserve to be talked about, or something just happens around them that has turned it into a running gag.
Yeah. I just like how this week you just like separated all the companies. It's like, okay, you're by yourself, and you're by yourself, and you're by yourself. I guess you always kind of do it, but this is like a new format. It's kind of interesting. It's like, okay, this time instead of, us just, natural segue here, this time just leap to it. Here we go.
And just formatted it this time. We're still trying to segue into it. And to mention of the idiot corner, this kind of, I'm not sure how this applies. Maybe Sony has patented an idea for turning commercials into games. I don't know exactly. I don't think anyone knows exactly what it means, but a game that's trying to sell you something normally isn't very fun unless it's one of those free Dorito games you can get on Xbox Live.
Yeah. And, most people normally try to weed out the commercials. Thus the whole big deal about, like, the Hopper and all that stuff.
I've got an ad blocker plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
People don't want to watch the ads. Why would you want to play them? Come on, Sony.
Exactly, guys. Let's not go into that kind of a thing. So, no. I do not want to play Christmas.
I seriously want to know what's going on, like, at the Sony brainstorming meetings. Okay, guys, I've come up with a new way for us to lose money. Come on, hear my idea.
Psychonauts is set to officially become a PlayStation 2 classic when it gets its PSN release. And when I saw that headline, I had to make the question, what do you mean officially? Psychonauts is officially a PS2 classic. It's a classic on every console it debuted on. And really, I don't see this. They made a big stink about this, or a big not stink, but a big deal out of this, and that's why I brought it up, because I don't think it's a big deal. You can get this game on Steam for $10.
You can probably get it off Amazon for a lot cheaper, even that.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know,
but
derp, guys.
Then I read this, and this is what makes it awesome. The idea is that if Double Fine is hoping that if the sales on the PS3 are good enough, then they can make a sequel. Which has me going, all right, I'll do it. I'll buy a PS3. I will buy this game. Make the goddamn sequel. Though it'd be easier if they took it to Kickstarter.
I was about to say, if you honestly want to do that, just say, hey guys, we're doing a Kickstarter for Psychonauts. You know how much money you would get just by fans going, yeah, throw the money at them.
It's like, it's, you know, I won't even say the next day, within a few hours. Hey guys, guess what? We're doing a sequel.
$1 million raised. What?
The Uncharted movie lost its director, but it now has the writers of National Treasure, which I'm not surprised by this, because I've been calling the Uncharted games a ripoff of National Treasure for a while now. But they have moved from ripoff. They are now just a clone.
This makes so much sense.
And yet we'll probably all go see it.
Yep. It might actually be good. I hope it's good, because we need a good video game movie.
Yeah.
Though a friend of mine, who will probably never appear on this podcast, but you look back to this, or I'll point you back to this episode if he ever does. He was making the claim that he hopes they write the movie the same way they wrote the games, i.e., come up with the set pieces like falling out of a plane while shooting people and yada yada yada, and then write a story trying to weave those together. And the only thing I could think is, this person has lost his mind, because video game movies, I think that's why video game movies are bad, is because that's what they do. They take set pieces from the game and then try and make a less than 2-hour story that can link those set pieces together, and it just can't be done.
Yeah, there's no need for it either.
It's kind of like there's just a few things. If I want a movie adaptation of a video game, there's just a few essential scenes I want in it. It's like, I don't want verbatim, but there's like a few scenes. You know, if you're gonna make a Metroid movie, have Samus crash through the ceiling and do the knee of justice. That's all I want. You know,
if they do a Metroid movie, the only thing I want is for her to turn into the morph ball and then a little cartoony face to come out of it and go, ow.
I actually think I figured out kind of sort of how the morph ball works, but that's for another time and place.
Yeah, you'll have to explain that one to me, because I just look at that and I'm like, okay, someone's spine is broken, or she is capable of auto-fellatio. Oh, except she doesn't have a dick. But
all I'm thinking it right now is Time Lord technology. That's
she's a Gallifreyan. We have discovered it. The morph ball is bigger on the inside.
Yep.
Moving on to more things that look pointless. The World Ends With You is getting an iOS port. Though anyone who's interested in The World Ends With You, I think, has already played The World Ends With You. And the unique part of that game, the ability to play on the bottom screen and the top screen, how are you going to replicate that on an iPhone? You just can't. It would be too small. You wouldn't be able to see what the hell you're doing. So are they ditching that element? Or are they having both characters being on one screen, and you have to somehow manage to control each of them with a different hand?
That would be kind of stupid. What am I saying kind of? It would be really stupid to do that last part. But, I mean, they probably are going to just ditch the bottom screen altogether.
They have been doing a lot of stupid things in the past. To bring up Square Enix and stupid things, recently I heard the brick and mortar, the glue, the central conflict of Dream Drop Distance, the 3DS game.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this is the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever heard. And the reason it is because I've played the games. And what they're saying is Riku and Sora have to relearn how to be Keyblade masters from scratch. They have to relearn everything they know about the use of the Keyblade because they were not properly trained. And I'm calling bullshit because I've played Kingdom Hearts 2. And I honestly look at the stuff he does in Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's much more impressive than anything you do in Birth by Sleep, which is the game where you're playing as properly trained Keyblade masters. So, fuck you, Square Enix.
Square Enix, can you just shut up and just give us Kingdom Hearts 3 already?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Mickey, you're a king. You might as well. Why can't you just say, you know what? That's pretty impressive. You know, screw the official. You guys are Keyblade masters. Move on.
Exactly.
Come on. You're saying that you don't have the ability to do that?
And
come on,
when
you can make
did
an
Mickey
exception
have the
just
time to properly train? He was doing Steamboat Willie. Let's see. Monster Hunter is getting an iOS and Android release in Japan. Probably won't make it to the US because the game's not as big here, though. Over in Japan, that series is the gaming equivalent of premium crack cocaine. You just dip your head in, take a snort, and you're set for life, apparently. I never got the draw for it, but yeah, in future news, they're also working on releasing Monster Hunter to be played on shower heads, bus seats, tabletops, and the screens of microwave ovens. So you will never have to be without Monster Hunter.
Okay, now you're getting pretty fucking ridiculous.
In fact, Monster Hunter on your iPhone. I don't think a microwave oven's any more ridiculous than that.
I think they're just going to pull a Futurama and just pour it straight into your dreams.
I could see that.
You never know. You go to sleep, put on a little helmet, and you just go right into Monster Hunter.
Speaking of the things dreams are made out of,
more Monster Hunter.
Kirby's 20th birthday is coming up. Happy birthday, Kirby. You're a nice guy. And they're going to be holding a bubblegum world record attempt. Yay.
Wow, for everything you could do for Kirby's 20th birthday, you decided to blow up bubblegum.
Yep.
How about instead take that that anniversary game and, I don't know, make it more special? I can already buy all these games on Virtual Console. Give me something I can't get on Virtual Console. You know?
You can emulate those games.
Yeah, give me more games. Everybody's played these games, you know? One of the games they have on there is Kirby Superstar. Everybody's played Kirby Superstar in this form at this point. You know, why can't they give all these games a graphical update? Number one. Number two, why not, instead of just giving us Kirby Superstar, give us Kirby Superstar Ultra. The DS wasn't doing anything special with that game. You can do that game with one screen. You know, just do it like you did Superstar, only you add the Ultra modes. Why not have that? Why not have at least one Game Boy Advance on there? I am looking at you, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Where's my 4-player Kirby and the Kirby Anniversary?
Yeah, that's one thing I got to say about Kirby is I don't understand re-releasing Kirby games because they're just as good on the first console they were released on. You can get them on Virtual Console. You can emulate them. And if you haven't played a Kirby game, you're probably Scrooge prior to that one fateful Christmas. Because it's Kirby. If you hate Kirby, you're just dead. You don't have a heart.
And it's like I said, I don't mind re-releasing these Kirby games, but you know, for an anniversary compilation, like they've done other compilations, they normally do something. For example, while essentially Mario Superstar Ultra, all the games had a nice spiffy 16-bit polish. Why can't they do that with like these Kirby games? We don't need them to look exactly like they did when they were first released. You have the technology, Nintendo. Make them look like Kirby's Return to Dreamland. All of them.
As I've said though about the new Super Mario games, I think a lot of the problem with Nintendo is just laziness. They want to continue making your money. They just don't want to put the effort into anything anymore. Like new Super Mario Brothers 2. It's just another Super Mario game. They made custom levels, but everything is ported from old games with a couple new features. Nothing really to shake a stick at. You can't just go, might as well play one of the others, or get some ROM hacks. Go play something from Korea. That'll keep you going for the next 20 years.
Because in reality, fans are doing it for them.
Exactly.
Did you
And sometimes a much better job.
put me at the helm? I'll figure something out and put some creative juices in there because I mean,
Or get
seriously.
to work on that Pokemon MMO we've been talking about.
Pokemon
forever.
Black and White 2. Are you kidding me?
I'm still waiting for a Pokemon game in the vein of Colosseum. What happened? What happened, Nintendo?
Pokemon MMO.
There
Just
was
saying.
there was promise there with the GameCube Pokemon games, and all of a sudden,
The odd thing is I've now played Pokemon Black and White 2, and with my
Does you mean Black and White?
no Black and White 2.
Oh, you actually played the Japan version?
Yeah, I have a rudimentary understanding of the Japanese language, so put it on the
Okay.
kids setting, and I could tell what was going on. And the thing I noted, the story was nothing. It really nothing special, and so they decided, and neither was the story of Black and White. It was the first game that tackled the idea of animal abuse within the games, which is something I give them credit for. And
But
Black and White 2 does not go into that, does not raise any bars. It actually probably lowers the bar as far as Pokemon is concerned. So it really not a set of games that needed to be made. A third version would have been nice, like they always do, and then get back to remaking Ruby and Sapphire.
which I'm surprised those haven't been announced already, but
I heard an announcement a while ago that some people are claiming was Black and White 2, but I still think was the announcement of Ruby and Sapphire.
anyway, I'm still disappointed you didn't add the Hyrule Historia story that I sent you.
Oh yeah, you did some. Well, might as well cover this because it actually, yeah, we're still in Nintendo, so
Yep.
perfect time. As Eddie mentioned, Hyrule Historia, they're bringing over the encyclopedia for Zelda, which I don't really care for myself because I only like Link's Awakening, the original, and Twilight Princess.
this man
but
has no soul.
I don't. I'm evil, and these minions will die. Anyway, but I do care for the small bits of story so I can see how the games are working out because they've got a setup that I find kind of interesting for one reason. And this reason is they've set up such a pattern, and Koizumi is going to continue till the end of time to get at me about this, but this is the pattern of a Zelda game. You are always going to be the same man in the same green tunic, wielding the same sword, defeating the same guy to save the same princess. That's their pattern. They've done it every time. Even in games where you think Ganon's not going to show up, he is the secret final boss. So you're
It's
always defeating Ganon.
Ganon.
And now this is what I want to see. I want to see a game where you're playing your character, kind of looks like Link but has some differences from Link. You're going to save your princess, and then they hit you with this twist. You find out that you're not actually the ancient hero, but the person you're playing was actually reincarnated from the ancient villain. What I want to see is you find out that you are Ganondorf, and you are actually saving Link from Zelda.
How does that work?
one of those situations where the idea of reincarnating, which is what I take of the Zelda, is that it's just constant reincarnation, except not the predestination part. Like, just right up that it's a coincidence that through all of these games you've always been Link fighting Ganon, saving Zelda, and actually have a game where they twist it.
See, I've always seen that different. I've never seen it as reincarnation. I've always seen it as bloodlines.
To be honest,
they've never really set it out as reincarnation. It's always been bloodlines. Link is actually always from the bloodline of the Knights of Hyrule, which means as long as the bloodlines of the Knights, it's not a specific family, is around, the chances of a hero always rising is available. They just use Link as a default name. And the same way, Zelda is always from the royal bloodline, who is also a sage. Ganon, by the way, is always the same guy. The guy just won't die.
The thing is that's because, if I remember correctly, I was talking with Natsu the other day. Each of the goddesses picked a champion. Pharaoh picked the boy from the forest. Nehru picked the princess, and Din said, good guy, yeah, screw it, I'm gonna go with that guy, the bad guy, because Din is a bitch, to be honest. Okay, you're gonna go through these next few trials as, in the Skyward Sword. You're gonna get this from this person, you're gonna get that from that person. Sparkly red gay ass earrings that thrash with everything. Well, if I spoiled that for you, I apologize.
That's okay. I know where you live.
But still, sparkly red and they glow brightly earrings. And they, from what I understand, clash. But thankfully, the Hyrule Historia is going to be able to explain the actual storyline.
Yeah, I've seen I've looked over a translation of the timeline, though, because the first time a timeline was proposed, the maker of the game tried to pull a fast one, because this one, he later admitted this in an interview. He put the timeline together last minute, tying things together as he could, and released a single straight timeline. Where saying these games take place all in the same thing, yada yada yada, which fans quickly destroyed as the ravenous hyenas they are, because of so many things that didn't add up. So then he turns around and puts a bit more effort in and releases a timeline that branches into two different branches.
Yes, it branches into when the hero was alive and the hero if he died.
No, it was the hero was alive as a boy and the hero lives as a man. But that didn't work either. So this new one is the one that popped up. And this one actually ties everything together nice, and it's why it's in the encyclopedia, because this one is perfect. That we know of. And it's the one that says you've got the two stories, I believe. I believe it's Skyward Sword that forward to Ocarina of Time. And then you've got, at Ocarina of Time, it branches into Link lives as a boy, Link lives as a man, and Link dies. And the Link dies is where Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, and Zelda 2 take place. Because of some really interesting factors.
I've got the picture of the dang thing on my flash drive. I'll have to pull it back up.
Yeah, from what I can tell, the main thing they're using for Zelda 1 taking place along that timeline, and Zelda 2 obviously has to follow it because it's a direct sequel, is in Zelda 1, the first dungeon you enter is a dead tree.
Yeah.
And that dead tree is the
Deku tree.
Yes, the Deku tree. Because it made sense that after beating Link, Ganon would go and destroy the newly growing Deku tree to keep it from, I guess, choosing another hero, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that works. I think it's interesting, but I'm not actually a fan of the series. I like 3 games, and those aren't enough to make me a fan of the series. I just like those 3 games. Anything to add?
Zelda's awesome. You guys should play more Zelda.
I've tried playing more Zelda. Didn't
Except
like
for the
Wind
DS
Waker.
games. Skip those.
Oh, the DS games. After Four Swords Adventures is when I knew I wouldn't like any portable Zelda game except
I
for
love
Link's
the
Awakening.
Four Swords series. They need a new Four Swords game for the Wii U.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
And have online play this time, unlike the stupid anniversary of Four Swords.
It's more along the lines of gotten branch play, to where if you're in a room with someone who's got the actual game, hey, everybody can play it. But if you're not, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. I like the concept of Four Swords. I want to see it. I want to see them try it again because I enjoy it.
Yeah, my first situation. I think the first thing that annoyed me with Four Swords was that you needed other people to play with. Because I first played it when I got a Game Boy Advance cartridge, which was A Link to the Past and Four Swords Adventure on one cartridge. And that's also when I don't know if I just never got far enough into it, but I never liked A Link to the Past, and apparently this makes me a cretin. But it is what it is. Moving on, the Spartan Ops DLC for Halo 4 is slated to be its own game, as that will be longer than ODST, which is big news because it brings back a wound to Halo fans, because ODST was originally supposed to be a DLC for a $20 DLC for Halo 3. And,
by the way, Jin, just real quick, I just pulled up the picture of the
yes,
the quote unquote official Zelda timeline from it's a translated one, and it's from the Hero of Time being successful and the Hero of Time defeated. So it actually branches into 3 different kind of.
That's what I said.
That's what I said.
Okay, well, ignore me.
Pay more attention, Eddie.
I am half awake over here. Shush you.
Hey, I'm on pills that are making me drowsy. What's your excuse?
I am drowsy.
Nice excuse.
It's hypno.
But yeah, that opens the wound because it was originally supposed to be a $20 DLC for Halo 3, and it plays like a $20 DLC. It's about as long, but we had to pay $40 for it as its own game. So, opening old wounds there a bit. But though the Xbox Live Arcade, the Kaspla, is getting its own free-to-play game in the multiplayer combat game Happy Wars, which I have a thing against free-to-play games now. Depends on the game. This one might be okay, but still have to play it to find out. If you want a good free game, though, go find Doritos. Both of the Doritos games. One's a racing game, and the other's a slightly different racing game. Yeah, good stuff. Don't cost you a dime. Resident Evil 6 is slated to have local and online co-op, with online co-op having up to 4 players simultaneously, and we also know that you can run while shooting. Which
about time.
Yeah, but it does raise the unfortunate thing. We have to sit and mourn that Resident Evil 6 is looking less and less like a horror game and more like an action game with zombies in it. Because Resident Evil 5 was really heading in that direction. The most horrible part was the AI partner. but this just isn't looking good. 4-player co-op does not make a game scary.
Makes it fun, but it doesn't make it scary.
Yeah. And if that's what you're looking for, cool, but we've lost just about everything in the survival horror genre. We're going to be losing, what was the other one? Dead Space. We've lost Silent Hill. Because Silent Hill has gone from horror to just plain, what the fuck did they do here?
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm loving the fact that the game is taking more of a... It's going back to that kind of dark feel, but you are getting rid of the horror element in place of this RPG element, which I don't mind, but at the same time, I still want that sense of, oh god, gotta have my shotgun, blarg, go away.
Yeah, if it's a good game, I'll say it, but still, it is sad to be losing another horror game to the ever-growing action genre. Soon, 20 years from now, all games are going to be action games. There will be nothing else. You will buy the newest Cooking Mama, and you will have to go slaughter people on the way to the cabinet to get some flour. Dead or Alive 5 is going to have Facebook integration, so you can post your feats to Facebook and stuff.
Why? No one cares about that.
Exactly. I don't get it. And the thing is, this is a Team Ninja game. This is Japan. Why does someone in Japan care about Facebook integration? It's like, yes, we like our social networking, but don't put it in our fucking games unless it's Angry Birds.
I mean, I know a lot of the players who are in the Dead or Alive 5 thing, like in the big competitive scene. So the main thing I can see this being is like maybe an extension of their friends list, so to speak, but I don't know.
If you're on Xbox or PlayStation 3, you've already got that. You've got a friends list.
But the thing is with the friends list on the Xbox and the PS3, well, at least the Xbox mainly, you've only got 100 slots.
I can just see the messages that'll pop up because of this. Cool bro 33 got such and such and such.
Why do I care?
In other news, still not getting laid.
If anything, it'll make for good comments because I know enough people who will be playing it and I can harass them about it. Xbox and PlayStation users are going to enjoy a 4-fold increase in Battlefield 3 servers. Yay. PC users don't get anything. Boo.
And I really don't care. Yay.
I guess I get that one. As the lone PC gamer here, I'm soured by this, but I got copies of this game on both 360 and PC, so I'm only missing out on half of my experience. Speaking of PC, see, that's a segue, kids. Minecraft is getting its second boss character. It's going to be a giant black 3-headed floating skeleton. No news on how you can actually get to fight this thing or anything. We've just seen screenshots of it, but cool. Getting closer to actually being a game and not an Etch-a-Sketch, which is nice.
I think people are playing it mainly because of the creation thing, so I don't think they mind.
That's why I didn't buy it on 360 is they don't have a creation mode in it, and I like the ability to go out and have to search for my materials, but the ability to, if I have an idea, to just go into creative mode and build it is very nice. In fact, I think it's necessary to the enjoyment of the game, for me at least. Knights of the Old blah 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 blah. Say it, Eddie.
Knights of the Old Republic 2 enjoys Steam release. Finally.
Yeah, I don't know why it took them this long. It's a good game. And if you haven't played it, play it. It's what Mass Effect was built on, and anything that's like Mass Effect is good. It's good.
Well, the thing is,
It's good.
I know that, but here's the thing, though. This KOTOR came before Mass Effect.
That's why I said it's what Mass Effect is built on.
Yes. Okay. Well, dabu dabu dahu da.
Yeah,
Don't
I
ignore
think
me.
you need to replace this. I think you need to replace Jenny here.
Oh, I'm. Oh,
Like I
this Eddie
said.
minion. This particular Eddie minion is dying in a horrible fashion.
I think she reached her expiration date. And now time for the commercial now time for a commercial.
Yeah, I put this in here because I like GOG. They're having their end of summer sale, and this is I normally wouldn't send you to a place to buy something, but these are $5 games being discounted to $1 and $2, and they're
That
normally
and getting
indie
commission.
games.
Go.
Yeah, they're normally indie games and they're old, and some of these you should really just try. If you haven't played, say, a SimCity game, when the hell were you born? Get the hell out of here. But
Go
Support
buy
the
stuff
indie
so we can get money.
Support the indie developers.
Support the indie developers.
But more
Okay.
importantly, give us money.
And this
You know you
one's
want
really interesting. Mainly, like I said, the ramifications of this are fairly interesting. Although it shut down earlier this summer, the OnLive, the one I told you about, where you get the game and then you play it off of their computers and they stream the video to you. They shut down and they've got bought out and reopened. Half the employees lost their jobs. Sad thing. But what I'm interested in is what would have happened if it actually stayed shut down? Because a lot of people have bought a lot of games on this service, and it just would suddenly not be available. And I bring this up because it's another thing I've thought of with Steam is I have almost 200 games on Steam, and if they were to make some bad business choices and go out of business, I would no longer have those games. I would have the ones installed on my computer, but I can't actually play them without the Steam client. And that's a bit of a bummer.
Yeah,
This is why I actually like owning my games.
that too. That's why.
People may call me old-fashioned, but I'm smart.
Yeah, I agree
Well,
with you
that's
there,
what has
buddy.
me reading the end user license agreement, because the only thing I can think of is I'm looking at the Steam license agreement, and the only thing that would make sense is if they were going out of business, they released the ability to play the games without their software, which I guess would manifest in a patch. Which, cool, but annoying. But hopefully they don't die. I don't know. Yeah. On that note, I like owning my games as well, but we're going down the route of digital distribution. It's inevitable because, if anything, it's best for the bottom line of the company. A digital copy of a game costs less to manufacture, therefore you make more profit than if you stamp it onto a disc, put it in a plastic case, and then ship it to a GameStop.
Yeah, well, even if you buy it digitally and download it onto your system, whatever, you still own a copy of the game.
Yeah. Which is essentially what Steam is, except you, while owning a copy of the game, you have to run it through their little client, which, notably, a lot of indie games, if you can't run Steam for whatever reason, like you've lost your internet connection, a lot of the indie games, you can go into the respective folders, hit the icon, and it will run the game. But higher release games like Skyrim, that just doesn't happen. And mentioning that fun story, saw a guy when Skyrim came out who bought a copy of the PC game, and when he got home and opened it, there was a PS3 version of the game in the case. That's
What?
hilarious. It wasn't a big problem for him for one reason, actually. He took it, traded it in, and then used a code that came in the box to download it on Steam. So he profited off of that really weird situation.
But we forgot to mention this back in the Nintendo section, and it's kind of like one of those things where my childhood kind of died inside, but the whole Nintendo Power is closing up shop at the end of the year.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
sad.
Have they announced that officially yet?
It's official that their last issue comes out December of 2012. So.
Oh. Well, we'll need to do a special thing then in December.
Yeah. I guess another inevitability because Nintendo Power has gone down in quality in years, and that's mostly because of the internet. Because I remember one of the reasons we had a Nintendo Power subscription when I was younger is they would pull a fast one on you, and some games you just wouldn't be able to. Unless you somehow got really lucky, you wouldn't be able to complete them without the Nintendo Power because they would have a puzzle that you'd have to solve in the magazine, or sometimes it wouldn't tell you what to do next. And you'd go get your Nintendo Power and boom. Really dick thing to do, but in the days before the internet, it was possible. So, yeah, definitely got to figure out what we're going to do then. Maybe just a Nintendo-themed episode.
Yep.
Lambast, Metroid Other M.
We'll figure something out, but
remind me, I have to bring up something about that in the post-roll.
Yeah. Onto the random.
Yeah, fun one is Australia, the capital territory, the Sydney area, is finally getting a bill that allows an R18 plus rating for games, which they did not previously have, which meant that for a game to be released in the country, all of the attorney generals would have to get together and agree on the game. And this is where we get to say, suck it, Michael Atkinson, because he was always the attorney general who would say no. Whenever a mature game would come up, he would just say no, and if you lived in Australia, you'd either have to import it or just not play mature games. And in today's world, most games are mature, and a lot of it is just because of theming. Because a lot of games I've played, I'd be fine with a kid playing, but I can understand why they hold a mature rating. The Persona series is big on that. There are sexual themes in it, but I don't think a kid would actually pick up on that shit.
Hell, we were in the 90s, man, and half the time, like, some of the cartoons you would watch would just, slip in those little innuendos that when you watch them now, you're like, wait a minute, I watched this?
Yeah, big one. Go through the Animaniacs and look for all of the dirty jokes they make.
Yep.
I love that show because of that, because I just, as a kid, did not notice it at all.
Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, yes, Ren and Stimpy. There was even a joke in Ed, Edd n Eddy that I didn't catch until I rewatched it. And it was, they slip in, Double D is trying to triangulate their position using a sextant. And when he tells Eddie what it is, Eddie just bursts out laughing at it.
Yup.
As a kid, I knew what a sextant was, so I didn't know why Eddie was laughing. As an adult, I was like, wow, they made a sex joke.
Uh-huh.
All right, and Idiot Corner. Thank you, Minion. From Software got humiliated by a fan recently because they announced beforehand that when they released Dark Souls Prepare to Die on PC, it would have problems. You would not be able to change the the resolution of the game. So people who had 1080p monitors were going to get fucked. Because normally when you buy a 1080p monitor, it's to play a game in 1080p. Never would have guessed that. And it would also, they wouldn't be able to get higher than 30 frames per second, which for a console person sounds cool, but when you're sitting with your face in right in front of the monitor, 30 frames per second is noticeable difference from the 60. And the fan, with 23 minutes after the launch of the game, had a patch out that you could use to fix the problems. So congratulations, idiots at From Software. Either you are bad at your jobs, or you're liars, or you're lazy.
I'm gonna say lazy liars.
Or you need to hire this fan.
Definitely. He got the game and fixed it. I'm going to assume downloading a game like that, if you have a really good internet connection, would take about 5 minutes. So after that, he had 18 minutes to fix the problem. That's impressive, because a lot of that time is also going to be spent compiling and decompiling the source files. So he's a really fast worker, or the problem was really easy to fix.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with really easy to fix, just people being lazy.
Which seems to be a big problem with a lot of games that get ported to PC, is they just don't want to actually fix the problem. They make the controls work and then say fuck you to the PC crowd, which is, if you're just playing console person, cool. But if you do as I do and play games on everything, it's kind of a slap in the face.
Oh, they'll never notice the difference.
Yeah, you'll never notice it.
These are the people who spend thousands of dollars to build their machines bit by bit. I think they're going to notice the difference.
No, don't notice the difference.
All right. And yeah, that has been the Gonzakistan Gaming Podcast. I'm going to go kill some minions.